There's a lot of noise surrounding Michigan right now. Today, we're sorting through what's real, what's not, and what actually matters. Let's talk about it right here on this episode of Locked On Wolverines.
You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Thursday. We are back and doing it. Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm your man on the ground, Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group. It's an impromptu Michigan mailbag because I wasn't your man on the ground today. I'll explain momentarily, but today's episode is brought to you by Kalshi. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use the code Locked On to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. All right. I got to reset this and then we'll be into it. So, impromptu mailbag. I gave everyone about 40 minutes. So if you're normally a question asker, you didn't make it in. My apologies. It was, last possible second. Zuri had a medical emergency this morning. She seems to be doing okay. She went into anaphylaxis, seems to have eaten something that she wasn't supposed to have eaten, or got stung by something, was like scratching herself. And I was like, oh, that's weird. She's just really scratching herself. And I take a closer look and I'm like, she's got welts on her head, and had to rush her to animal hospital, which was 20 minutes away. And got her all Benadrylled and steroided up. So she's doing a bit better. So thank you to those in the Everydayer Club who said your prayers, sharing that wide now. But hence, we didn't go to the press conference today. It all happened about the time that I was about to start heading out to Ann Arbor. And instead, we're doing a Michigan mailbag, impromptu-like. So let's start with my brother in metal, Michael Wolf at MWolf21. Do you think Whittingham is coming to Michigan with a point to prove, especially since he was seemingly kicked out at Utah? I mean, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? Like, they were like, yeah, we want Morgan Scalley to be the guy. You can still be the head coach, but like, you have to run all your decisions through him. And yeah, that's absolutely, I kind of mentioned this on the M Zone yesterday, that it's a pretty weird thing to be in his position. And yeah, he's absolutely going to want to prove, like, yeah, you guys made a colossal mistake. Who wouldn't, right? Like, that's even how I kind of treated moving from 24/7 Sports to USA Today. It wasn't like a bad blood type of thing, right? Like, it was just too many cooks in the kitchen when it came to, like, it wasn't fired as some rabble-rousers like to say. I was laid off due to, again, we had too many employees after the merger between Scout and Wolverine 24/7. And, someone had to be expendable. It was me. And certainly, like, when I didn't even have to look for a job, USA Today came approaching, and I started it. And it was like, okay, well, I'm going to do everything I can to prove that was a poor decision. And I failed in some ways. The first year went great. I mean, it's still going well. I mean, I'm not doing all of the things. Everything's kind of shifted. I think part of it doing this podcast, but I'm not making it about me. I'm using it as an analogy, right? Like, because anytime you find yourself in a situation like that, yeah, you're going to try to be like, okay, I want to make sure that that was a poor decision. So, like, if you're Kyle Whittingham, the best revenge is success. So yeah, I absolutely think he has that. I mean, every coach has a chip on their shoulder to some degree. It's part and parcel part of it. Spencer Whitmore, do you think it's fair to treat us this way and demand so much from us and have us pivot our entire day in life to accommodate your schedule? Kidding. Hope everything is okay. Go blue. And Zuri seems to be okay. Her face is still swollen. She looked like, with the amount of hives on her, she looked like Michael B. Jordan's character in The Black Panther. And I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. Just covered in like welts that just were all over her entire body. So everything's better. Face is still very swollen. She looks like a different dog right now. Tried to get her to come in here, but she seems to want to sit outside and stare at the door. Not outside, just outside the studio here. Upgraded for this particular episode. I'm not the one at William Cawthorne 9 with his 3. Why do people feel like it's necessary to take shots at people who take advantage of situations that give an advantage? UConn's coach said people should be ashamed of themselves for taking advantage of the new 5-year ruling. He continues with another Festivus grievance. Why do people make such a fuss over players coming from lower level schools or divisions to the Power 5? They can't do it when we've seen a lot of those same players go to the league and become stars. I mean, it's, for the first part, I don't really have anything, right? Like some people just, they want the status quo, whatever it is. In a lot of ways, I'd prefer the status quo, but not in all things. In terms of the lower levels, I mean, because it is a different level of competition, right? Like if you're talented enough to play varsity and you're playing against junior varsity, how is it going to be when you move up to varsity? It's the same reason why like Bryce Underwood didn't just dominate as soon as he came in compared to what he did in high school, that type of thing. So, he continues, what is Underwood's completion percentage need to be for Michigan to reach its highest heights? At least 70. I'd say at least 70. In today's college football, again, 2016, having 60% completion percentage was considered to be exemplary. I want to cross-reference that real quick because I don't think I can go back to 2016 actually. And no, it only goes back to 2020. But in 2020, for instance, I mean, that's when things really started taking up. But the top passer in 2020 was Dylan Gabriel as far as yards per game. He was at UCF. He had a 60% completion percentage. Mac Jones had an otherworldly year that year. Won the Heisman. He had a 77.4. But you look at like the top passers, they were all kind of like Kyle Trask had 68.9, Jake Haener from Fresno State, 64.7. You look at like Brady White at Memphis, who was pretty good, 60.5. You 61% at Kenny Pickett. So Michael Penix was below 60%. Zuri, do you want to come in here? She just peeked her head in to get water. It's her water bowl's in here. Come on. Yeah, you can come in here. All right. Maybe the puppy will join us. Maybe you'll get to see an allergic puppy. I don't know. The welts are really going away. Anyhow, no, she doesn't want to jump up here. But like Trevor Lawrence was sub 70% then. But then you look at 2025 and, it's not super, super, super different, but everything's kind of hovering around 70. Top passer was Drew Mestamaker. 68.9 overall. Let's see. Josh Hoover at TCU was 65.9%. You look at Jaden Mayava with 65.8%. So actually, I'll revise and say 65%. That's what I'll say. 65%. Finishing us out in segment 1 is Great Bambino X at Colossal Cloud X. It's sort of odd to see Utah suing Freddie Whittingham and none of these others who joined Kyle here at Michigan. Any idea why they're singling Freddie out? No. I just wonder if they wanted to go after someone with the last name Whittingham, and if they settled with Kyle the way they did, then they could go after Freddie. That's just my guess, but no, kind of odd. I agree. All right, we've got plenty more coming up, and we are going to get to more of your questions as we move into the Victor's Valiant here in just a moment. But before the season even kicks off, everyone's making predictions. Who wins the conference? Who makes the playoffs? Who's lifting the trophy at the season's end? And at Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Can Michigan win at least 9 games this season? Listen, in the Everydayer Club, Rican Raider made a pretty solid case there. Michigan's currently trading at 40 cents, meaning a $100 trade pays out $240 if they reach 9 wins. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position, trade the draft pick, the game, and more on Kalshi. Download the Kalshi app and use the code LOCKEDON to get up to $500 in bonus credits when you trade $25. KALSHI, Kalshi, trade on anything. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory. Get Get your daily Michigan fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now and get closer to your team without the interruptions. Click the link in the show notes or go to lockedonwolverines.supercast.com to claim your free trial. Got a puppy just walking around. I have a little tiny desk in front of the camera, which holds the computer. Like the setup. It's funny because it's just, there's a camera on a tripod, the teleprompter, monitor, light. Zuri's puppy bed is underneath the light. Chair, obviously. We've got a little side desk here with the microphone on it. And she's just walking around the desk. She's like, I want attention. I want to cuddle, but you're not. But she doesn't want to climb up here. Do you want to come up here? She doesn't want to come up here. You're not going to go nowhere. You're definitely not going out there. You're not going outside where the problems happened. I mean, I know she's got to go at some point. Let's go to the Victors Valiant, starting with Michigander at Michigander1212. So there's a rumor going around that Babs and Savion are both dealing with minor injuries. Or Babs might be dealing with turf toe. Do you know what Savion is dealing with? Either way, both are particularly concerning, and both are still competing and practicing a lot. I mean, I don't know, but like, again, it's not concerning. Injuries are a part of football. Minor injuries are a part of football. Like, as long as it's not a major injury, then turf toe might be. And I don't know the veracity of that. I don't check in on injuries unless it's like particularly concerning. But like, no, it's guys are going to get banged up. Jason Beck did not seem, from what I looked at, Jason Beck did not seem particularly concerned about where the team is, as it's like mostly healthy. There's no catastrophic injuries, so that's fine. I wouldn't concern yourself too much with that. Like major injuries, yeah, but like minor injuries, fine. It's no big deal, really. Ian Westbrook at Ian_Westy. Only one of the other Big Ten teams with tougher schedule than Michigan might be Ohio State. That said, I could possibly see a possibility of them meeting in November and both teams have 2 or 3 losses with the playoff berth on the line. Would be some great drama. What say you? Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be people in the Ohio State side of things are going to be like, oh, like, how dare you? Listen, I talked to multiple of your own beat reporters that said to me, I foresee us going. I didn't say us necessarily, but I can foresee Ohio State. And I'm just talking like people that like are known to be like, yeah, these guys have been covering Ohio State for some time. All right, so he doesn't want to be in here anymore. I've heard them say 9-3. They would not be surprised if they went 9-3 or 8-4 given the schedule. I mean, it's a tough schedule. And yeah, I agree. Ohio State is probably more difficult than Michigan in terms of like going to Texas. I mean, they do host Michigan. They host Oregon. And they have some of the other same difficult games. They go to Indiana. It's just kind of like in some ways an inverse of Michigan's, right? Like they host Michigan. Michigan goes there. They go to Texas. Oklahoma, Texas's rival, comes to Ann Arbor. So, and I understand, like, Oklahoma was the playoff team. Texas wasn't. I still think Texas is probably a better team last year. But still, yeah, I think that's absolutely possible. Brett Byer, at Brett Byer 6. I don't care what comes out of the mouths of Whittingham or Bryce about Ohio. All that matters to me is if they're actually doing the action, preparing for them an hour a week. So the question is, will they be looking at film of Ohio and setting aside time in practice? I mean, all indications are, yeah, that's actually happening. So again, what they say does not matter to me. What they do is what matters to me as well. So I agree with you. SS Go Blue 25. Hope all is well on your end. Been seeing a ton of smoke on Bobby Kenka, and also I've heard stuff about Moten and Patterson. Haven't really heard anything about Moten, so like I want to hear more about Moten. Who do you think is best poised to take that number 5 spot behind Pale Pale? Benny Patterson's probably more of an edge, by the way. Could it be Vallejo or Davis? It doesn't sound like it based off of my the question I asked Larry Black, but I think it's more Bobby Kenka. It seems like it's Bobby Kenka, Ted Hammond. And I'd love to see Travis Moten be that guy. I would absolutely love to see Travis Moten end up taking that step forward. Patterson seems to be more of an exterior guy, which is kind of surprising to me because I think the plan when they recruited him, again, different staff, was to bulk him up, have him be inside. Kind of sounds, and it just sounds like there's so many guys, but maybe they do both. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I got there. Jacob Shavaria, I'm back, he says, and long screed there. Have you seen Sharon around town since his firing? Is there? I have not. But I don't hang out in Ann Arbor as much as I used to now that I have a beautiful home in Fenton. Is there any benefit at Michigan Stadium to have night games? Yeah, I think there is. I mean, the crowd's a little more raucous for sure. Like I've been surprised at even like the Purdue games and things of that nature. Fresno State's the world. Seems like people are more raucous throughout. I think it's a great atmosphere. I mean, for me, it sucks because, two things: work late and then church the next morning. On top of the typical field turf thing, which, by the way, Michigan changed its field turf. I'm praying that it doesn't affect me the way that, like, other places don't bother me as much as Michigan. They might bother me, but not nearly as much as Michigan does. But yeah, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's really any negatives in terms of like the fan experience. I'd still prefer noon games if possible, but night games I think are a better atmosphere at Michigan Stadium. To be honest, I just wish it could have stayed special, where it was like they have a night game like once every like 3, 4, 5 years. I wish that would have been a thing, but clearly it wasn't going to be. Perry Mitchell 08. Jamie Ffrench, I got to scroll down. There we go. Jeremy Ffrench told John Jansen the wide receivers are changing the narrative around Michigan and that they will be leading the offense. Obviously, this is false. The run game is top dog, but can that narrative finally truly change by the time Marsh, Ffrench, and Underwood move on? I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that would include J.J. Buchanan, Celeste Moa, Travis Johnson, potentially Channing Goodwin, all in that conversation. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State was not known as a school that was passing all over teams when Urban Meyer was there. It was like, yeah, they had some flex guys like Curtis Samuel, but for the most part, it was like, they're going to run the ball down your throat and there's nothing you can do about it. From the quarterbacks to the, they'd pass enough. It really was more of, they had a running quarterback and they had a really strong run game. And usually that flex guy, right? The Percy Harvin type that could make you pay in the pass game as well as in the run game. And it wasn't until Ryan Day had, Dwayne Haskins and, that it turned things up in terms of that. It changed like almost overnight. Like, oh, now they've got, they had great receivers. It went up a massive notch after the fact, right? Like they had decent receiving cores, but like we're talking like the difference between like your top receivers like KJ Hill to where they are now. So yeah, it can change in a hurry, especially with the new staff. Ramos Herrick at Ramos Herrick. Why is it really tough to beat Indiana at home? Did they lose a lot to the draft or no? They did, but like, here's the thing. Number one, you've got the best coach in the country, and it's obvious that he is, but considering he turned Indiana to a national champion from being a team that was like, if we do play all of our cards right, maybe some year, once a year or once a decade, we can get to 9 wins. We can be 9-win Indiana. And they went to the playoff 2 straight years, won the national championship, and just ran roughshod all over everybody. So you have that, number one. Number two, really great in the transfer portal, outside of Josh Hoover. Strong trench play, guys like Carter Smith. Great receiving core still, Charlie Becker and company. So I think it's going to be really tough to beat them regardless, right? Like this is a better roster than what Cignetti had 2 years ago, theoretically. But again, same coach doesn't win everything all the time. Nick Saban didn't win every single national championship when he was at Alabama. So they have down years. Could it be an Indiana down year? I don't know. I think it's going to be a really tough ask regardless, because usually when you've got a lot of experience and you got great coaching, you're able to run things back a little bit easier. David H. Pruden, are you all right? Yes. I mean, actually, I am a little frazzled, to be honest. It was a stressful morning. So, that was that, once the adrenaline wore off, I kind of almost crashed just writing, but like doing the show, but wow, like having my dog struggling to get breath for a little while and trying to drive 20 minutes, wondering if she's going to be okay. Yeah, that was hard. Nathaniel Staling said in an interview with Sam Webb that he clocked 21.2 miles per hour at some point during the offseason. He's a little worried about him being a possible starter. I didn't have any worry, to be honest. Thoughts on Roddy Gale's potential return? I wasn't believing it personally, especially once they ended up getting this kid from Columbia yesterday. I was like, okay, I think that closed the door on that. But then Tim McCormick said on his podcast that he thinks that Roddy will be the starting small forward. So, I mean, he absolutely could come back. We're seeing that. It's not like Mike Boynton's got like a completely new staff. This is different than Ernest Hausman. So I didn't think it was likely a little bit before, because he seemed like, okay, he's gone far enough down the road, but now it kind of seems like, yeah, I think that's a strong possibility. Finishing us out in segment 2, Adam_Casel. I'm feeling that the Oklahoma game is a high reward, low risk for Kyle Whittingham and staff. If Michigan loses, well, it happened last year, and Michigan probably won't be favored. If Michigan wins, there could be lots of positive momentum in the locker room and fan base. Seems like the IOU game could be similar. What say you? I wouldn't say the same thing for Indiana, because that's midseason, but like having Oklahoma in week 2, yeah, I think it can be high reward, low risk, because you know, if you lose that game, you still have plenty of other games that you can make things up. Like you can just try to you can go in and be like, all right, we're going to try some stuff out. We're going to try to see what we can do here. And, maybe our team comes along a little bit faster. Maybe they, sometimes I think Bryce said this last year. One of the best ways to learn lessons is by losing. So yeah, that could be a help. Honestly, you can learn a lot of lessons about your team. It's non-conference. I understand it. It's not necessarily playing with house money. If you win, it's playing with house money. But if you lose it, then you have little room for error. You still have another game you can lose. 2 makes it a little bit more difficult. So I wouldn't say it's low risk, medium risk. High reward, medium risk is where I'm going to go with that. All right, we've got the Conquering Heroes coming up here, essentially. So we will get to them here in just a moment. All right, we're going to finish out here. We're going to start with Pistons Famo, who asked any insight as to how the scrimmage went. I mean, as far as I've heard, it went good, right? Like it's nothing like crazy to report. Bryce was, mostly good, had some mistakes. Defense continues to be phenomenal, but that's like, I haven't gotten any specifics. I'm famous on the show for not having a lot of fall camp insights until maybe game week. So, ask me again then, and even then I might not have any because I don't have as many contacts with the staff as I had with the previous staffs. So there's no Connor Stallions over there. That makes any sense to you. Brad West at Brad. Okay, we do this every week. I'm not going to read your name, man. It's long. Sorry. What's most likely to finish highest in Big Ten rankings? Total scoring offense or total scoring defense? I'd go scoring defense. I mean, defense is kind of leading the charge the last several years. Ohio State had the top defense 2 years ago. Indiana last year. Michigan and Ohio State had the 2 top defenses the national championship year for Michigan. So yeah, I think I just think that the top teams are so strong defensively. And I think like when you look at like Ohio State, like I don't think that they're necessarily like trying to get like 6,000 yards of offense anymore. I think that they're trying to win a little bit closer to how Michigan did last couple of years. And I think Arthur Smith coming in as the offensive coordinator, I don't think he's going to be like, all right, let's get a 4,000 yard passer and 2,500 yards rushing. I don't think that's what they're trying to do, to be honest. So I think total scoring defense is kind of the name of the game. Dr. JT, PhD at Vaunted JT. Who do you see starting on the offensive line? I do have one change that I'm going to go with right now. So I think that it'll be Blake Frazier, Evan Link, Jake Warnera. The change being, I kind of have a feeling that Brady Norton's going to win that right guard spot. Did it last year. Can he do it again? Hearing some good things about him. I know that might upset some people, but it's just because someone, struggled early on a year before doesn't mean that the lights didn't turn on. And then continuing to have Andrew Sprague as the right tackle, I think that Andrew Babalola will be the rhino. So that's what I think is going to be it. But I would not be surprised if Nathan Afobe ends up also being that right guard. But I think that's the only position that really kind of needs something. But I've been wrong before. There have been times where I've sat here confidently, and then before you know it, I mean, actually this was before the show, but like before you know it, you're breaking the news that Nolan Ulizio just won a right tackle job, right? Like sometimes there's left hand turns that you don't anticipate. Mr. Go-Getter asks, is that a lightsaber on your shelf? Yes, it is. I believe this is one that I've built 2 at Disney. I built one with Anthony Broom. He and I went and we built in early 2021. We went to Galaxy's Edge and did the lightsaber, Savi's lightsaber workshop. And then I went again with my friend, well, for the sake of Canada Mike, and who doesn't know this, I don't think, but for Danielle, Allie Gearing's best friend, Danielle, with her sister Agnes and her friend Chelsea, and built other ones. And that one, I think, is the one that I built with them, I think. I don't remember. And then I have a couple other lightsabers. It's kind of silly because now I'm like, why do I have... Some of them I got on sale, right? Like, I mean, I got the Kylo Ren lightsaber. I've got Emperor Palpatine that I got for like $50 on like a sale, and I got Asajj Ventress, which was also on sale, and she's one of my favorite characters in Clone Wars. The book with her and Quinlan Voss was really phenomenal. I can't remember what it's called. Dark Apprentice? No, that's not it. All right, Martin Blank at S Goodspeed 19. Are Babalola and Higher hurt? If so, how long are they out? Are they out long term? No, they're not out long term. I don't know how hurt they are, like, to be honest. Michigan Man at CFB Enjoyer 8 finishing out the show. Is there still concern with punter, or do you think Combs finds a way to bring out more from that position? No, I mean, he's not concerned at all with Cam Brown. I mean, you got Cam Brown and Hudson Hollenbeck. I think Cam Brown's probably going to win that job. No offense to Hudson, but I mean, big leg, UNLV. I believe he's a second-year guy. I think that he'll end up being it, but he seems pretty confident that he's going to end up being a dude. So, I mean, we've seen how, like, even Hudson Hollenbeck was better in the bowl game, if memory serves. Like, the whole thing was just better under Kerry Combs. So, yeah, that's that. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Tomorrow we will be talking about what Kyle Whittingham has to say in his press conference, and we will go from there. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again soon. Peace.